welcome everyone to the Tuesday, February 6th, 2024 Plain Edge Board of Education meeting. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, Tiffany.
Routine approval of the minutes of the December 5th, 2023 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the December 5th, 2023 board meeting? Dr. Neto, second. Mrs. Maggio, all in favor? Opposed? Abstaining.
Okay, 5 in favor and 2 abstaining. Motion carried.
Approval of the minutes of the January 11th, 2024 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the January 11th, 2024 board meeting? Mrs. Spagnolo, second. Mr. Paris, all in favor? Opposed? Abstaining.
5 in favor, 2 abstaining, motion carried.
Warrant report 68 through 71, 73 to 74, 76, and 79 through 81. Do I have a motion to approve the warrant reports? Mrs. Townsend, second. Mrs. Maggio, all in favor?
Okay,
Opposed? You got everyone?
I got everybody. All in favor, motion carried.
Treasurer's report, December 2023. Do I have a motion to approve the December 2023 treasurer's report? Dr. Neto, second. Ms. Townsend, do I have all in favor? Opposed?
Okay, 7 in favor, motion carried.
Discussions and presentations tonight. We have the second draft of the 2024-2025 budget. Peter Perazzo will be presenting. You ready?
Hey, all right. All right, so we got a couple very good presentations tonight. We have Fine and Performing Arts budget presented by Vito Menino, Jessica Yadwood, and Chris Busara. And then we have the special education budget, which will be presented by Bridget Murphy and Nicole Duffy. Coming up in March, where we have the bulk of our presentations, we have the health, physical education, athletics budget, facilities and operations, curriculum and instruction, administrative technology program budget, staffing and enrollment. And then when we start to wind up budget in April, we have fund balance, reserve plan, revenue projections, and the final budget is presented to the board on April 11th. And then we come to May and we have our budget vote on May 21st. Just to reiterate our goals, the goal of this budget is to maintain or expand program and do it all within the tax cap. I don't know if you can see the slides, a little difficult. This slide talks about the CPIU, which is one of the biggest tax levy drivers. It shows that over the last 3 years, the actual inflation number has been 4.7%, 8%, and 4.12%, which is well above our allowed 2% tax levy limit factor that we incorporated the tax levy calculation. Obviously, with the tax levy limit, we're still working on that right now. There are a couple items that go into that are budget driven or state aid driven, notably transfer to capital and bus purchases, as well as we have to project out what building aid we'll be getting in the coming year, which is a rather lengthy, difficult process, reviewing all of our open capital projects and determining which ones will be completed this year and next year as well. And we continue to refine the budget as we go. As you know, a roll forward budget was $105,969,000, which is $4.7 million increase over the prior year, and 4.7% over the prior year. We've worked diligently on the budget to bring it down. The budget is, we removed $564,000 from the budget. Budget now stands at $105,969,000. 405,212, a 4.14% increase. One of the couple of the biggest drivers in this, we have some salaries that we're gonna move into a federal grant. We'd be paying some salaries out of a contractual code as opposed to a salary code, which is a rather big savings. And we reviewed the special ed budget with the Director of Special Education, and we've revised some estimates for next year, which reduced the budget by $260,000. So we continue to refine the budget. As you know, benefits and salaries make up about 80% of the budget. Still working on those, solidifying the positions coming up next year that we need in the budget. And we continue to revise both the budget, the revenue and the expenditure side of the budget. Any questions?
Thank you, Peter.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Perazzo. Okay, now special education presentation, Bridget Murphy and Nicole Duffy.
You're on.
Special education 2024 to 2025 budget presentation.
I see you brought everybody to.
I mean, I feel like I got usually fine arts goes
Great.
before us, so I feel like we got
Thank
bumped
you,
up.
everyone, for coming tonight. That's.
But
Over there.
I think so my name is Bridget Murphy. I'm the Director of Special Education.
I'm Nicole Duffy. I'm the Assistant Director of Special Ed.
And we brought a few people with us. We have obviously an amazing and fantastic room
Thank you.
filled with support staff, teachers, school psychologists, speech therapists, aides, teaching assistants, literally parents as well. And we are very excited that they are all here to support us. We are very, very lucky because they are what makes our program exactly as wonderful as it is that you'll hear about in the next couple of minutes. So we are here tonight. We are asking for an increase in our budget for next year. And we will discuss that in the upcoming slides, what has made us project that we will need an increase from this year to next year. We're looking for an increase just under $400,000 for the 24-25 school year. In this slide, you can see what it is specifically that we are looking at as far as an increase. We spend a lot of time looking at our students, our trends, all of the classrooms that we have in place, and try and find the median of what it is that we think will do, what we need to do to make sure that we continue to provide an absolutely amazing and excellent program for our students and their families. Right now, we are looking for equipment, materials, and supplies to remain the same. At this point, we're not looking to open new classrooms. We last year did open, or 2 years ago, did open another 913 classroom. We do not anticipate needing to open another classroom at this point, so we didn't feel that we needed an increase in either of those areas. And we are looking to decrease our BOCES schools and services budget line. In the coming slides, you'll see that we have less students that are attending BOCES programs currently. So we plan to be able to reduce that line by a small amount, just to make sure that, we are putting the money where we think the students are going to end up. We are asking for a rather significant increase in our approved New York State private schools. Although our students are not going to BOCES programs, we do have a very small number of students that do attend New York State approved private programs. And we do anticipate that 5 of those students will potentially need a residential placement for next year. For those of you that don't know, a residential placement can cost anywhere from about $200,000 to $400,000 per student. So we look very, very closely at each individual child and try and project what we think we're going to need for the next year, and that's why we're asking for that increase. And then we're also, the only other place that we're looking for an increase is for our amazing and wonderful Northwell program. They do a rate increase typically from one year to the next. It's approximately about $10,000 from one year to the next. We feel that this continues to be an overwhelmingly important partnership for us. We continue to be one of the districts that is the most prolific in our use of the program. And I do attribute that to the fact that Dr. Selena and the Board of Education many years ago, when we started this partnership, decided to hire a district level school psychologist that facilitates the entire thing. And because of that, we are able to utilize the psychiatrists and the connections that we have with Northwell more than any other district that has a partnership with Northwell. So Rebecca is a wonderful, wonderful asset for us. But we continue to believe that that partnership is helpful to us and our students and our families. A lot of them have participated in the professional development that is available through them as well. They've been very, very helpful in some of the crises that we've had come up. And they're just absolutely wonderful.
So our office has oversight of a tremendous amount of smaller pieces. First and foremost, we have oversight of our robust special education programming, which we'll talk a little bit more in detail in the coming slides. We have oversight of the Committee of Special Education and Preschool Special Education. Again, as Bridget just mentioned, we have oversight of our Northwell Mental Health Program, which we are utilizing more than any other district, including Governor, at this point in time. We still continue to work with the guidance department and Ms. Cuddyman with our social emotional learning and our Aaron's Law rollout every year. We have oversight of state reporting, which is mandated for every school district. So we make sure that we're getting those in a timely manner. Our budget maintenance and our stacks for state aid reimbursement and our Medicaid submissions. This is all ways that we get money back into the district. So we make sure we're doing this on a timely manner, and we're making sure that we're getting every single cent that we can get back for our district. We are working very closely with the business office to make sure we are getting those. Additionally, when it comes to monies, we prepare the grants and the management of those grants for the districts so that we're able to, again, provide additional monies for our programs. We provide a plethora of in-depth professional development for our staff. As you can see here, and I'm sure they could all attest to how much great work they are putting into the professional development to bring back to our students and into our classrooms. We have oversight of district location, district of residency. We do have one private parochial school within our catchment, so therefore we have oversight of the CSE there, providing services for students. With that also comes making sure that we are working with the business office to get reimbursement, and we bill them for any kind of services that we're providing there. We have a full day extended school year program that I'm sure everyone's aware of that we run in July and August. We are so proud of that program. It continues to be utilized by most of our students, and we also bring in some out of district students just for that program because of the full day piece. It's a ton of fun, and we always have a great time during those 6 weeks. We work very closely with our families and our staff with regard to transition planning for our students for when they do leave our buildings, because we may have them up to the age of 22 in some cases or just till graduation, but they have a long life ahead of them. We want to make sure that we're assisting and setting them up for a supportive, successful lifespan. And then last but not least, and this is just, I mean, there's even more stuff in this, but it's just the general overview. We do offer parent engagement sessions. Just this past week, we did provide a transition meeting for our incoming high school 9th graders. So our middle school 8th grade parents with students with IEPs and 504s got to come in and have an overview of the programs we offer here at the high school. At the beginning of the month, we did our CPSE to CSE transition for our preschool parents. I think that was our biggest turnout this past year. I think we had something like, at one point, I think I had 39 people. We did it via Zoom because little ones are hard to manage and wrangle at 6 o'clock at night. So we had a huge number of parents begin to partake in those. And then at the end of the month, we are going to be having our middle school transition for our elementary school 5th grade parents to come up to the middle school and be able to tour it and get to learn about our programs there. So I talked a little bit about our robust programming, and we are able to offer the full continuum of services as laid out by New York State. So we have everything from our least restrictive program of Resource Room, which is that pull-out service 5 days a week. Then moving up to our next full day integrated co-taught program. And then we were able to offer a multitude of special class programs. So that's a 15-1-1 at our high school and middle school levels, our special class 12-1-2 at Shorting Elementary School, and our special class 9-1-3 that you'll see K through 22. Additionally, we offer our special class program at the high school. We have vocational counseling, which allows our students to prepare and learn some work-based skills and life skills that they'll be able to take with them out into the community while they're here. And then also take the skills and carry them on past graduation or aging out. We do have students that are in out-of-district placements. We'll talk a bit more about what that looks like for our students. And then, of course, we offer the full gamut of related services here within our district for our students who require them. Again, we offer the services that students require within their least restrictive environment. So that can include occupational therapy, physical therapy, speech language therapy, vision services. We offer school-based counseling with our wonderful 9 school psychologists, parent counseling and training, and of course, assistive technology. And for our students that are nonverbal, we offer augmentative communication, consultation, and devices.
We love to brag, so we'll try and keep it really short. Obviously, as Nicole just said before, one of the things that you all invested in several years ago was a full-day integrated co-teaching program. I more recently have been conducting observations across the board in our elementary schools, our middle schools, and our high schools, and I have to tell you, the investment we made in training and staff is unbelievable. What I am seeing in classrooms is nothing short of just amazing, and all of our students are benefiting from it. So not just the special education students. If there's a student that's in an integrated co-teaching class that's struggling with a concept, they get to be a part of a small group possibly that's going to reteach or pre-teach or go over something for them. There's tons of different small groups, stations, all these different things, amazing things happening. And I really do feel that our students are benefiting dramatically from the fact that they have a special education teacher and a general education teacher all day at the elementary level and in those core classes, and as a support also for middle school and high school. It has been just truly amazing, and I give kudos to all the people who I've been in a lot of their classrooms recently. It is really very, very impressive to see. We also have our special class 913 continuum now up until the age of 22. So I'm not sure if many of you are aware, but recently there was a court decision that came out of the circuit that oversees New York State. And the decision was made that special education should be included for children inclusive of their 21st birthday, meaning that students used to turn 21 and they would age out if they were going for a skills and achievement commencement credential the year of their 21st birthday. That is no longer the case. Students can now stay up until the day before their 22nd birthday, and it gives them a little more time with us. Students that are working towards a Regents diploma or a local diploma can also continue to stay and work on that if that's what they need as far as extra time. So it has had a small impact on us, obviously, because we have some students that are staying slightly longer than we had originally anticipated. But I have to say the parents that have been impacted by it are very grateful, because there is some backlog with OPWDD specifically right now, where parents are having a hard time setting up transition for when they leave us. So giving them that couple of extra months to get everything together has really been very beneficial to them. And then we also have, as Nicole said, our 12-1-2s, our 15-1-1s. Those are classes where students are working towards those Regents diploma, the local diploma. We also have it that we work very closely with our guidance department. Students in those programs often also get to attend classes at Barry Tech or GC Tech, meaning that they can also not only focus on the academics, but they can also focus on a lifelong skill, which has been incredibly helpful. I've already bragged about our Northwell program, so I won't talk about that anymore. And Nicole and I always like to say we love to go on tour and share all the things that we do with the world. We don't want to be a best kept secret. So we are lucky enough to have said that we went to the National School Board Association meeting and presented. We went to the New York State School Board Association and presented. And I have to say, we presented on Challenger, Unified, Best Buddies, all the inclusive and amazing things we do here. And I got a plethora of people that reached out to me after each of those presentations, asking how they could do what we're doing. And I'm hoping that that means that we're spreading our whole theory of inclusion and our success with other places around the country and around the state. It's really, really cool. I know Amy Bernard is here. I put her in touch with a lot of people who asked about Best Buddies. And it's just a fantastic and amazing thing. CKCC and Erin's Law continues to be very successful. Our students continue to love the programs. They enjoy seeing the videos. It's a very, very good thing for us to be doing. We've had a lot of crisis response management and services that we've been working with the buildings on. We all know that, COVID has had an impact on the mental health of our students. So we continue to work very closely with building administration, all the mental health people, our friends in the guidance department, to make sure that our students and their families and also our staff are feeling supported. I got to give a presentation on Superintendent's Conference Day about mental health, and I have to say I received a lot of really positive feedback from people about just talking about what it's like to be dealing with mental health issues in the classroom and personally now. So it's nice that we're able to support them. We continue to work, now that we've really done the work for integrated co-teaching, we've shifted our focus quite a bit to focus on reading. Obviously that is in line with all of our friends in curriculum instruction. They've also been doing a lot of work with reading. So we have worked to spend a lot of time with our staff doing PLCs and assorted other professional development to have them learn about all of the cutting edge reading interventions that our students could possibly need to make sure we're closing those gaps if they are something that we become aware of. We also continue to work with our staff that work especially in our 913 settings and sometimes our 1212 settings to make sure that everybody is trained in something called CPI. CPI is a de-escalation and restraint training that is has a very rigorous training, and I have to say we now actually have 5 staff members on site that are trained trainers, and that allows us to make sure that any new staff members that we ever bring on board are able to be trained very quickly, but also that they have a resource. So if there's something ever comes up and they feel like they're not really 100% sure what they should do, or they have a question about something, there's somebody in every single building that can be a resource for them about how to do it the right way and make sure that we're implementing it correctly. Again, as Nicole said, we're doing all the parent stuff, mental health, transition, behavior management, CSC transition. We try very, very hard to make sure that we have our parents have all the information they need in order to be an active member of our team. We want them to understand what is happening in the school setting, so that way they can hopefully generalize it and come in and feel comfortable approaching a staff member because they've seen them at different things and they know that there's somebody that they can go to that has information for them.
So we work very closely with our IT department. As we know, technology is the wave of the future where you got to keep up. And so we're trying to keep ahead of all the trends with regard to the technology enhancements we're providing with our special education students. This is allowing our students to get full access to their curriculum as a modification, which has been incredibly helpful for increasing independence and achieving those lifelong skills that they need to have when they graduate or when they age out. With regard to our students who are nonverbal, we do still continue to work with typically our BOCES consultants, work closely with our speech language therapists to provide support on augmentative communication devices and trainings and different programs with that. Our vocational counseling program this past year has shifted. We have started beginning to work with Northwell. We've moved into using with the new company, and we have seen only incredible gains this year. We have 3 incredible consultants that work with our 913 students at the high school that utilize the PACE lab, that are now working. Right now, they're selling some Valentines, so they're using the Cricut. The kids are being trained on utilizing the Cricut. They're still going out off-site multiple times a week to different job sites, and they are working and being trained in They're going to Five Below, they're going to TGI Fridays, they're going to Chili's. So they're and it seems like every week, and Mr. Brazo can attest this, we're asking for another certificate of insurance for our students to try another location. So it continues to expand. And while we continue to expand there, they're continuing to work on the skills even in-house. With these little sales that they're doing, we're looking to expand our Plain Edge Perk to John H. West. Thank you for starting that with our 913 students. So they're starting the skills even earlier, and we're looking to bring that even to the high school level. The counselors heard about it and they want to jump on trying to do something similar to high school. So
Everybody was very jealous of Plain Edge.
yeah, it was pretty great. So, you know, I think that seems to be the wave of the future. The kids are excited, they're supported. Our staff is excited, and we're seeing a lot of growth within our vocational program, which is what we need and what our students really need to develop those skills on site before they even leave us. Additionally, we still work with our families to provide support at the high school and about the age of 16, 17 for Access VR linkages. Those are for our students that require support due to their disabilities, such as additional assistance with a job coach or some trainings and things along those lines. The lower level than the OPWD linkages. Those are for our students that are typically in our 913 programs. And our OPWDD linkages we're doing even earlier, starting in our elementary schools. Our psychologists are working very closely with our Northwell connection to make sure that our parents and our students and our families are connected at an earlier age. And that way it makes the process simpler as the students begin to age up, because by the time they hit 16, there's a lot of things the parents need to do. And sometimes if they fall through the cracks, it's hard to get ahead of guardianship and all the other legal pieces. So we're doing what we can on our end with Northwell to make sure that we're helping our families, supporting our students, and getting everyone ready, even if they're only 8 from when they're 22. And again, Bridget already mentioned some of the parts of our community, and the most thing that we're most prideful of is our community of inclusion within all of our district buildings and our community at large. This year, I'm not sure if anyone's heard, but we are hosting the Special Olympics in this May 4th.
It's gonna be a small
Just a
event,
small
very
party,
very
in
small
our
party
backyard.
on May 4th.
No big deal. We are working tirelessly with the athletic department, Dr. Selena, all of central office, board, all of you, to make sure that we have the best Special Olympics that has ever been possible. I know they came to us, we opened our doors, but we are excited. Our team is incredibly excited. I can see that. There's a lot of you here every time I turn around. I love it. So we're hoping to get all of you for the Special Olympics on May 4th as well. So that's going to be incredibly
That'll
exciting.
check off at least 100 volunteers.
Next year,
right
let's just be
there.
aware for like our
Yeah.
points of pride is going to be like, yeah, pages of this. Again, we've continued to bring awareness to our different disabilities that we work with our students. Autism Awareness Month in April, Down Syndrome Awareness Day. We have PS I Love You Day coming up this Friday. So
Wear
please make
purple.
sure you wear your purple. That's going to be, we had a lot of support this year with the PTA, which I think was really helpful to getting the word out. So this is going to be very exciting this year. Our Best Buddies chapters, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with the pride with this. Our annual fashion show is next week. That is also, make sure you get your tickets where they're going to be sold out. So make sure if you haven't gotten tickets, we get tickets. It's going to be exciting for our 3rd annual next Thursday.
Nobody ever leaves with a dry eye.
It's the best night. It's one of the best nights of the year, right, Ms. Bernard? Yeah, they work so hard. They're working hard right now. It's going to be fantastic. We saw a little bit at the elementary schools last week. Everyone's ready for it. Additionally, we were on billboards. Best Buddy is on billboards in Times Square. That was an incredible day for those who didn't get to see the video or weren't there. The kids loved it. There was a flash mob. I mean, how do you go wrong with a flash mob? So it was a lot of fun. Our adaptive PE classes here at the high school, working with Ms. Nee, have continued to work with connecting our typical peers with our special education students. They typically have peer buddies within their AP classes, and they're having the best time as well, while building connections and friendships. Challenger and Unified, Bridget already touched on. We continue to present on these expanding programs. Soccer, again, was a huge hit this past fall. We have basketball to look forward to this year. We're going for a 3-peat for our Unified basketball to be Section 8 champions. I know we got it in us again. It was so much fun. I think the kids have a great time. We're looking to expand to cheerleading too this year. And then again, our cross-contract requests for our summer program and school year, they started in December this year. So every day, Bridget and I are getting more and more applications of outside districts looking for placement for their students and contracting with us for in our district. Because word has gotten out and parents are actually requesting to come to us to make sure that they send a packet to us to take a look at. Fortunately, we don't have any seats for all these students, but it does feel really good to know that they are seeking us out for their students because they know we're the best.
So one of the things that we did want to make sure that we highlighted for you, and this is a slide I think we added last year. But it's one that we develop every year internally, and it's an important component for us because it helps us look at trends in special education. So as you can see, in the 22-23 school year, we had a total of 510 students that were classified under CPSE and CSE for Plain Edge. And this year, this report was actually run the end of October, beginning of November. We had 557. So that is an increase of 47 students that we are servicing this year over what we serviced last year. And that number was very heavily impacted by our incoming kindergarten class this year. So you can see most cohorts. So if you look across the top, it gives you what the grades are, and down at the bottom, you can see the total. So, you know, students that are in our upper grades, we typically have somewhere between 23, 36 students in a cohort that are classified. And you can see a lot of our students, you know, we always look at, so students that are currently in fourth grade are the students that were in kindergarten when COVID shut down our education system. And you can see there is a very marked increase in students that follow from there. So we are definitely seeing an increase in our younger students as far as cohorts go. I can say that, and this we discussed again in a future slide, we did see an increase in the number of students that transitioned into CSE that came to us with a diagnosis of an autism spectrum disorder. We are continuing to see that trend for preschool. You know, one of the nice things that, you know, because we oversee preschool, although we're not responsibly financially for the provision of services under preschool, but we oversee preschool. It allows us to look at those trends, look at those populations, look at the students that are coming in, so we can try and build and prepare a couple of years out, right? So, you know, kids that the youngest child now that's in CPSE that's being serviced is 3. So we can look ahead and see how many students are coming to us. And what you can see is that as far as preschool special education goes, there was 81 students last year. For the 22-23 school year, was 82 students at the end of October. I think right now we're actually up to about 130 preschool classified students that are
Typically happens as the year goes on.
it does typically go. But those are children that are in the age range of 3 to 5 and live in Plain Edge School District. So we thought that this was an important slide for you to be able to look at as far as what the disabilities are that we're seeing as far as being in the district, how that goes about, you know, impacting our services for our students, and why we are looking to allocate money in certain areas based on these trends that we're seeing.
So talking a little bit more about that CPSE to CSE, in this current school year, we have those 45 CPSE students enter classified who require services. At this point in the year, we currently are anticipate transitioning 53 students from preschool into kindergarten. So you already see that little bit of a jump right there again. Again, we're looking at 29 students for who are related service only. So that means they don't require a program. That could be serviced in all 3 of our elementary schools. 10 of those students as of right now, and again, this is fluid. 10 of those students at the time of the slide being created were anticipated to go to the integrated co-teaching, 9 students to our 12 at Schwarting, and 5 to our 913. Today, we did have a meeting with our school psychologist. We take a closer look. We've been doing observations with our students within the programs, and we're already starting to see a shift of students, an increase in students that may need to go into different programs based on where they are this year. Again, Special education, unfortunately, is not a science. We don't have a ball to tell us exactly, who's going where, but we continue to do the best we can to plan. And as things change and adapt, we'll continue to keep everyone here abreast of kind of what's going on.
Allison Catone, our CPSE chairperson, goes out and does site visits for every student that's classified as a preschool student with a disability. She does it from the second that they go into a program, all the way through to getting them ready for transition. So she speaks a lot with the providers so we can try and anticipate where we think those students are going to be. At this point, 11 of the 53 students that are slated to come in September have diagnoses of an autism spectrum disorder. So as we discussed, we have a full continuum of special education services in our district. As we talked about before, we did increase the number of 913 classes that we have at West, and that was done about 2 years ago. We continue to see a need for the 4 classes at West. We continue to have classes in our middle school. We see that we're going to need 2 classes there. And we still have the 3 classes at our high school, which does include that vocational counseling component. So our students are in academic periods for a shorter period of the day at our high school because they are participating for either 4 or 5 periods a day with our vocational counseling. And that gives them the time to be able to go out, get on a bus, go work on a job site, have all those wonderful experiences. They also go out and do some really fun things. They go to the diner, they practice travel training. They do some really fun and
shop for
amazing.
us?
They shop. Oh,
When I
yes.
forget to go get something to the supermarket on Sunday, they send something out and they go and they shop on Wednesday. So I just give them money and
They're
then
called the super shoppers.
It's incredible.
And
I forget something
they
every week.
they send out every week an order form to the entire high school staff, right? I think a lot of us have taken advantage of it. They send out an order form. You can tell them what you want from Stop and Shop. They come and get your order form from you.
And your
They
money.
go out and they go, and your money, and then they go out and they go shopping, and then they come and they deliver it to you. But they're also practicing the skills of having that pragmatic language component where they're having a conversation with you. They are doing the individual shopping. They keep a receipt. They have to give you the change, and they have to remember what each person ordered. So it's a really amazing and fantastic thing. The kids love it. They love coming into classrooms and offices and having conversations with people. And we all love it because, yes, as working moms, sometimes I forget what I needed for dinner for one night. And it's really great when somebody else is running to the supermarket and it's one less thing for me to do. So that's always fantastic. We do have our 1212 and our 1511 programs, as we discussed. Those students are very often tracked to get either local or Regents diplomas. I know our guidance department and our curriculum and instruction friends all present on the success of these programs. We have students that are graduating with all the diplomas that we would ever want them to get. It's really amazing. Our staff works incredibly hard to get these students prepared to pass Regents exams that are incredibly difficult, and they do a fantastic job, and our kids really do leave set up for success.
We like to show this slide every year to talk a little bit more about our out-of-district students and students that we are not able to maintain in district. I think it's important to note that the only way we do send students out is when their needs are so significant that we're not able to meet them for a plethora of reasons. As you can see, our trend, we are trending downwards again since 2012, when we had our height of 42 students that were sent out of district. At that point, I know this is before my time, that there was the decision to start building the program here within Plain Edge, and we've only reaped the rewards since then. So for the current school year, we do have 22 students out of district. We're anticipating 21 next year. 5 of those students are anticipated to go to a residential setting. Keep in mind, students that go to a residential setting are going there for health and safety reasons. They're not able to be managed within the school building, nor are they able to be managed in the home. And there's many levels and many checklists and many people that have to be involved in order for this to be approved at a state level. There are students with the most significant needs. But I do want to point out that while our numbers are just 21 right now, if you look at the number of students we have in district now that have continued to increase, our percentage of students that we're maintaining, that we're sending out continues to actually be smaller every single year because we have more students
In district.
in district, just in general.
and we still make money, which is even better. So even though our available seats are definitely getting smaller, we do have available seats occasionally. And as Nicole said, I think we are up to getting probably 2 or 3 applications a day from neighboring school districts. I think we started getting in December applications for this coming September. I could fill probably 2 kindergarten classes with out-of-district students right now because people are so desperate to send their children here. We continue to always monitor our trends. We always want to make sure that, you know, our students who live in district are the ones that get the seats in our programs. But if there ever is room, we are always welcoming to our neighbors to have students come here. And once they are here, they really do become ours. They are integral parts of our community. They are well-known students. They, you know, they really become Plain Edge members. We don't anticipate, unfortunately, because we do have the increase in students, we don't anticipate taking any additional students next year from out-of-district placements because we are having an increasing population overall. That being said, we still take students for extended school year, and we will have some students that are already here that will continue to remain here. So we do expect somewhere around $1.4 million of revenue that will come into our program to obviously help offset some of the costs of the services that we provide our children. And that's the happy note we like to leave it on. So are there any questions?
Actually, I have a question. Going back to the one with the grid, the CSE distribution for 2023.
Yeah.
What do you think's driving the first line in that table?
The learning disability one or the?
In district school
The
age?
indirect school age special education. So that's where those 45 students coming in for kindergarten is,
People moving in?
you know,
Yes.
no,
People
yes
moving in.
and no. Nassau County and Suffolk in general have seen an increase in the amount of special education students overall. So we participate in a South Shore consortium once a month, and BOCES has a consortium of like all Nassau County directors once a month as well. Everybody is seeing it. Even BOCES at this point predominantly has wait lists to get into their program because they're seeing an increase in the number of students. A lot of people left New York City and moved out to the island. So I think that that is part of it. I have been reading a lot of research, and although nobody is saying that COVID caused autism, what people will sometimes say is that some of these students that would have been getting early intervention and or CPSE services sometimes did not get those services in person. Maybe they got them over Zoom. Maybe a parent wasn't picking up on a delay as early as they would have because they're not taking them to that library program where they notice that something's a little, you know, delayed in maybe a speech or, a social interaction that they would have before that. And maybe we would have been able to provide services sooner, which would have hopefully led to better outcomes for that younger group. That's part of it. There is a huge shortage of providers in general for early intervention and CPSE. So there are some students that are recommended for services and they're not getting those services because there are no providers to provide them. Which then also I think is sometimes leading to us seeing more deficits at kindergarten, first grade, second grade that we wouldn't maybe have seen prior. I think it's a little bit of all of that. You know what I mean? So I think it's people moved. I think it's an impact of COVID and what that did to the field. I think it also is, you know, we had students that were home, and a lot of times we could say, okay, so they were home with mom and dad and wasn't that great. You know, they were home with mom and dad more, maybe mom and dad weren't at work, but mom and dad often still had to work, right? So kids were in front of screens for longer. They weren't having play dates and doing some of those other things that they would have done. I don't know. I can tell you that I do think that we've had some really great and positive outcomes for students that we've had come in and have started to get services. You know, right now, we're actually looking at moving some of our students that are currently in a 913 to a 1212 setting. And we're moving some of our 1212 kids to an integrated setting, and we're moving some of our integrated kids to a resource room, and we're actually doing that more than moving to a more restrictive setting. So that to me shows that the interventions that we have in place are making a difference, and hopefully we will start to see some of those numbers come down as they receive services longer. But I don't know. I say regularly, many people have sat in meetings with me. I regularly say, I really hope somebody's studying this because we're not the only ones seeing it. And I really hope somebody who is in, I don't know, a doctoral program somewhere is doing their dissertation on it, because I don't know.
So it's not just the plain edge.
Yeah, no,
It's global, it's.
you
It's
know,
low.
there was like what the pressures were.
I do think, I mean, I will tell you that we've had plenty of parents who have told us they come to Plain Edge because they've heard that our program is amazing. So, you know, when you're moving out from New York City and you're picking a school district, you're gonna look for a school district that's going to provide good services for your child. I don't think that it's so significantly different here than Island Trees, Seaford, Jericho. They're seeing the same increases that we're seeing.
So another question, because our program's so good, and obviously we have a huge increase of 47 total. Is 395,000 approximately, is that like enough to service this incremental?
I hope so.
My hope is to keep us at the forefront, like if we're really good at special education, I want that to continue. So looking at these numbers, like I'm just trying to justify in my head, is that really the right amount? You know, or should we be thinking about things differently? So I don't know.
I think right now, you know, Nicole and I spend a lot of time speaking with all of our staff members about what is needed. What do we need to be successful? Do you have the tools that you need to be successful? And I have to say, and they're all here, I think that a lot of them could tell you that right now, between the professional development and the programs that we have and the support that we have from everybody, we are providing an amazing and wonderful program. When I develop our budget, I look very hard at worst case scenario and best case scenario. And like Nicole said, I don't have a crystal ball, and I try and measure that. I think a lot of people here will tell you there are 457 kids in district, 475 kids in district. I have a little bit of a brain problem. I probably know almost every single one of them and can tell you about them. And we meet with the staff very regularly, starting in December, to talk about what's happening next year. What are we doing with our students? So this is my best guess. I don't anticipate right now needing additional staff. I will tell you right now, we are struggling, obviously, with some support staff issues. You know, hiring aides and teaching assistants, just like everywhere else, is incredibly difficult right now. But I don't think that there is anything additional we need now. The budget I put forth is considering rate adjustments, what we need to keep going. Yes, room for improvement always. I mean, half these staff members have probably gone to professional development in reading or behavior this year alone, 1 or 2 times. And we said,
Important to remember also that the budget's a guide,
yes,
all right? And there's nothing set in stone, and anything that's required for the students that are under their IEP or any other services that they're required, they will get. And we always have, and we spend a lot of time, you spend numerous hours, obviously, on your end analyzing the numbers. We'll continue to offer an incredible program, I'm certain of it. And should it need anything else, obviously, we'll hear from you.
and we are incredibly, I have to say, we are incredibly grateful to all of you and central office, because in a lot of places, special education is not celebrated the way that it is here. And it is 100% celebrated, and we feel very supported. And that's huge. It's part of what makes me love working here. The inclusion and the support and the acceptance is really unparalleled. It is what makes it, I think, and Nicole already said, the best place, and we've worked other places, so, you know, I do feel that in my heart.
Just one more question,
Oh.
just if you happen to know the answer to this, which is kind of a little, I noticed that our tuition is about 75,000. Do we know what BOCES charges for something like that? Like,
Yes,
what's some
about
of the-
140 to 160,000, so we are a bargain. Our
Very cheap.
tuition is set by New York State. So some of what the business department reports to the state as far as our staffing ratios, what we spend on special education, everything else all gets sent up to the state, and then they set something called an NRT rate. It's a non-resident tuition rate. It's actually a different rate for students that are K-6 and 7-12. And that's what we bill. So when we send a contract to Wantagh, we tell them we're billing you what the NRT rate usually comes out in like October, I think, every year. And that's what we get back. So yes, they love sending their students to us because we are way cheaper than BOCES is. And I think we
We're a
do
better
a
program.
much better job. That's obviously my own opinion. You know, there are reasons for students to go to BOCES. You know, we don't have a timeout room for a student to go to if they're behaving in an unsafe way and we can't redirect them. They have higher levels sometimes of psychiatric care that we don't have here, although at this point we almost parallel the services that can be provided in some of those intensive programs. But yeah, we're saving obviously a significant amount of money by not sending our students to BOCES, right? So, you know, a class of 9 at somewhere between $140,000 and $160,000 is a lot of money, as opposed to what we're able to do here. And then we obviously have the control and the dedicated staff here that, you know, they pour their heart and souls into our program 100%. Yes.
So one of the things that we want to make sure that I'm not just talking about myself, but I remember 9 years ago, like before I even got on the board. So for years previous, when I was on the PTA board, one of the things that always concerned me was that the PTA board couldn't have the SEPTA board like in a joint meeting. And I recognized that SEPTA always had difficulty getting their parents in because of course their lives were very entrenched with their kids. And some of these meetings that had these great speakers and seminars could have really helped their families, but they wouldn't be able to attend because obviously they had to take care of the children. And I think that over the years, and one of the things that when I did get on the board, that even before that, at roundtable, at PTA meetings, one of the things I felt we started addressing with Dr. Selena, and then of course, you know, he in turn spoke with our special ed, and then of course, there's been changes within the special ed program, which I'm so glad that we have you guys on board because you can see in the years how vastly improved the program has become and how attractive we are. And I do believe that we have a lot of people, home buyers, who want a great school district looking for homes in the school district. I mean, the home values didn't just increase by luck. It increased because of what the value of the school district is. So while I know that sometimes, look, people can talk about, I only have 1 kid, 5 kids, 10 kids, whatever, is that the benefit of having your child in the school district, there's such immense value. So point I want to make though, I remember back then when I would have these discussions with the, you know, PTA, the SEPTA president, and I would try to figure out ways, you know, try to be creative of how can we incorporate, get together, or, you know, how can we get you guys into meetings to see these speakers? And, or find ways that we can really, I don't know, brainstorm. And they used to say, well, that's probably one of the ways they kind of got me to go to even like run for the board, but let's not discuss that. But anyhow, so you, because I think one of the points they made was they felt that I was very passionate about it, even though I didn't have a special ed child myself. And I think it was because I was able to have the time to do it, and one of the things I always express to special ed families is that it's harder for them, the whole point, because they are so encumbered with their problems at home. And I do feel that when I said this, and it's very truthful, it's not the special ed families that need the education and the seminars. It's the general ed families that need the education, because in order for us to accept inclusion for children, everyone has to be more open-minded to the idea of inclusion and to be really part of this school community.
And I would say that I think the shift many, many years ago, before Nicole and I were here, to bring programs into the schools has done exactly that. So we regularly say that this community is changing the world, because we have students in our buildings that maybe many years ago somebody wouldn't have come across, because they would have gone out to a BOCES and they wouldn't be in a building. For example, Plain Edge Perk the other day, the student council was paired with our students that are in our 913 program. And when you walked up to order your coffee or your snack, there were written prompts, and a general education student prompted the special education student to say the first line and then to say the second line. And then they in turn told another pair of students, a special ed student and a general ed student, how much money you were giving and how much it cost. And the student was able to write out, they gave me $20, it cost $2. They knew how to put touch math points on the 2 and count with the student and say, okay, now they need $18. And then that general education student would, or special education student would go in turn and have a conversation with, the next group. So I think that by exposing our children to all different other types of children, not just special education, but, culturally diverse, all of those different things, creates a very amazing and wonderful world. Because you want to know what? The next time they go to Target and they see a person with Down syndrome or a person with autism that's maybe stimming or having a difficult time, they're not going to be afraid. They're not going to shy away from that, because it's something that they have experienced their entire educational career. And I will tell you, in our high school, and there's some of the people that work here, we've had students that have had a meltdown and are laying on the floor, and students that will walk up and be like, hey, so-and-so, what are you doing? Come on, get up, and we'll turn to a staff member and say, do you have their token board? They need to work for it. What are you working for? And they know how to work a child's reinforcement system, because that's what they've been doing in adaptive PE classes, in classrooms, in Best Buddies, and all of those other situations. So I really do feel that the program we have in place has created an environment where our students are truly included. The other day I was at West, and Mr. Maizano was having his 5th grade, pizza party that he has for the kids that are moving up to middle school. And there was a student that was going to participate from one of our special classes, and the kids let out a cheer that she was going to eat lunch with them. They were patient. They waited. They know to have extra wait time for her to respond to a question. They know to prompt her for eye contact. They know how to do these things because that's how they've been raised. And it really is an amazing and beautiful thing.
Well, what I want to say is thank you for.
It's all them.
It's not, well.
It's all them.
to
It's all
everyone,
them.
But it's not just, because the benefit is not just for the special ed.
No, it's not. It's
It
making
is-
the world a
it
better
is really
place.
making, yes,
Yeah.
so thank you for that, because I really believe everyone benefits, and that's what makes our school district
And
wonderful.
it is 100% all these people that are standing.
And
behind
thanks for
us.
keeping our home values very high.
Oh, anything.
I want to say, 10 years ago, or to 11 years, I came on the board and we sent out the majority of our students to BOCES. This administration made a conscious decision to bring everybody back in. This is what you get. Took 10 years, but this is what you get. However, it wouldn't happen without the passion of everybody in this room, Nicole and everybody else and yourself. Without you, the way you have passion for this, bringing the Special Olympics here, which is a huge undertaking, you're downplaying it. I was at the Special Olympics at Farmingdale. It's huge. So, I think we need to thank everybody. It's a special person to do this kind of job, so thank you very much.
Thank you. We are very lucky
Yeah.
and very grateful to, and obviously, and they're here. And how many board meetings do you have? All these people that come and spend, you know, a time, and they had a 2-hour PLC tonight. too. A lot of them probably went someplace really quickly and ate and then came here. So they probably haven't been home yet, and they're here listening to us brag about our amazing program. And we are grateful to all of you because, like I said before, we feel the support, and it comes from all of you. And our children are the ones that benefit.
Thank you.
I too like to brag a little bit. So in my other job as a teacher, I'm always talking about how awesome Plain Edge is and our commitment to the fully staffed ICT. And when Dr. Selena and you guys brought that forward for me to vote on as a team, I was never so proud to be a part of it. And at a time where districts are cutting and they're pretending they care about kids by cutting teachers, they're not caring about kids, and we are not doing that. And I'm very, very proud to happily support and see that every time, because that's what matters. You guys matter to kids. The teachers matter to the kids.
They do.
So thank you.
Thank you.
And tk you for this hard work. This is quite impressive.
Yeah. We try and keep it under. We really like to brag. We don't get to do it a lot, so, you know, every once in a while. And then, you know, there's that small party at the beginning of May.
Again, I just want to, and second and third, everything, what everyone said. I mean, the Northwell, I work in
You
a
brought
school-
it, you brought it to us.
Thank you.
So, yeah, but I think like what you said, I mean, the fact that we have the commitment base and not only the mental health portion, but the vocational program. I heard a lot from families that we need to change. And the Northwell vocational program is second to none. I mean, I've worked with them at my other job as a psychologist, where they go above and beyond helping our students become successful members. So the PACE lab that we have here, it's again, second to none. So I'm looking forward to Thursday night.
Yes, buddy.
Next Thursday.
Last year I went and it was the best night I have ever gone to a Plain Edge event. No downplaying the other wonderful events that
I
we
mean,
have
the
here at Plain Edge.
Pinehurst people are gonna be up next, but I will say that we,
But I think the commitment.
we do often sell out.
The commitment that we provide, not only the education, but also mental health.
We already sent the
component that we have
request to go
here,
first
so-
next time. Sorry, Joe.
Okay.
No, go.
I just want to say thank you to you guys, to my fellow board members for providing this, the community for accepting the help that we're providing all of our families. And again, the staff, I value you. You are valued. I know sometimes when you're dealing with the students on a daily basis, it's hard at times, but I think it's important that we always kind of look at what have we done for a child today, and seeing this, we've done so much. So thank you so much to everyone that's here. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anything?
Just a nice round of applause.
Hours, people are gonna definitely keep it under half an hour. I don't know. Maybe. I think Torino's gonna say. Oh, he's gonna sing it. Oh, well, I wasn't. I'll never sing it, so that's not my,
Thank you, Bridget Murphy and Nicole Duffy and all of the staff that came out today. We really appreciate that. Thank you. And now we will have the Fine and Performing Arts Budget Presentation 2024-2025. Vito Menino, Jessica Yedwab, and Christopher Fusaro.
Thank you. Should we get the instruments now?
yes. We're gonna play a full opera.
Yeah.
And buckle it.
We'll see.
Many hours.
Good evening, everyone. We are here to present, our fine and performing arts budget for 24-25. You'll see our total increase, in budget from, 23-24 is $750. We'll go through some of the line items, on the next slide, for a total of $175,370. Basically what we look at, what we have, in music and art, and this is combined, for both areas. We do have equipment and repairs. We have our materials and supplies. We have music dues, rentals, memberships, periodicals, travel. BOCES Arts and Ed is included here as well. We do, and we also have a line for our marching band uniforms and reconditioning to make sure that those are always in tip-top shape, and we're replacing those. What we do from year to year in music and art is we basically do an overhaul of the budget in terms of projects from one year to another. So that's why you'll see movement from equipment and repairs over to materials and supplies. So for a number of years, we were focusing on things like replacing risers, large ticket items in the music and art program. We had cameras purchased for the high school course over in high school. So as we move from those projects and we move into the next things we want to look at, we found that moving forward into the next year, we actually have an increase or need some more supplies. Things like music stands, storage shelving, some other supplies that are going into art. So that's why you'll see the difference in the change. We kind of identify those areas, and it's not kind of a one total for everything. You do have to account for equipment as opposed to supplies, and that's where we're kind of moving things around. The $750 is actually one of the areas we identified, which has been amazing and fantastic. I think, as everyone knows, over the last few years, we've had more students getting selected to all state and all national. So in order to cover the costs for students participating in those programs, that's where we kind of saw a need. We want to make sure that we're covering all those costs. We're making those things happen. So that's where we did have a little bit of uptick in say dues and memberships for counting those students.
These are our New York State learning standards for fine and performing arts. They were revamped a few years ago. They're far more comprehensive than they have been in the past, but standard 1 is creating, which is conceiving and developing, performing, responding, and connecting. All of our teachers do this every day in their performing classes and their arts classes, whether it be a general music class or an instrumental music class or a theory class at the high school. Each of these connects with the standards in a different way. Our elementary course offerings are general music, kindergarten through 5th grade. We have band in 4th and 5th grade, orchestra in 4th and 5th grade. We have our primary chorus, which is 2nd and 3rd grade, and our senior chorus, which is also in 4th and 5th grade. Our middle school course offerings are band in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, chorus 6, 7, 8, orchestra 6, 7, 8, and then we offer general music in 6th and 7th grade. Then our high school course offerings are concert and marching band. Those go hand in hand. We have mixed choir, concert choir, orchestra, music theory and AP music theory, and music theory and AP music theory alternate by year. And then some of the opportunities we had beyond the classroom are chamber orchestra at the middle and high school, jazz band, middle and high school, jazz choir, Triad Music Honor Society, drama and musical ensembles. And actually, I realize now that we just started a wind ensemble at the high school as well, which is kind of a nice opportunity for our band students. So that's a new opportunity that we have. And here are some of the numbers from the past year. These are our varying events and festivals. And like Mr. Menino said, we've had a pretty significant uptick in students who are being accepted into all state, all Eastern, and all national. That is 100% because of the wonderful support that we get both from the community, the administrators, and our really wonderful educators, my colleagues. Like, they do an incredible job with our kids. So I'm really grateful to work with such a wonderful group of people. NISMA is the New York State School Music Association. They run a lot of things. I know a lot of you might have students or children who have gone through NISMA as a solo festival. We had 208 kids perform last year. That number is continuing to go up after COVID, and we're gearing up for our current festival season. All county, we had 64 students participate. The Long Island String Festival had 17, and NSBTA, which is the Band Directors Association, those are all in-person festivals that kids can go to. They get nominated by their teachers, and they go and they perform in these sort of higher level performing groups and ensembles, and they're really special opportunities for our students. And then we have all state, and this year we had 2 participants. We had several alternates accepted as well, and that number just kind of continues to go up, and it's something to be really proud of. These are our participation numbers. You can read them for yourselves in all of the different grades, but we have 2,782 students participating in total. And then here are some of our achievements beyond the classroom. We have NISMA All-State, which is only for grades 11 and 12, so students audition in 10th and 11th grade. National Music Education Association, which is all county. We do our NISMA Solo Festival. We do our NISMA Majors Festival. Like, NISMA runs a lot of different kinds of festivals, as you can see. And the NSBTA Honors Ensemble and Long Island String Festival. And those are all sort of the things we talked about on the previous slide as well.
Okay, elementary art. Students in kindergarten through 5th grade attend art on a weekly basis, where we cover the New York State standards and 7 elements of art. In middle school, we have art in 6th grade and 7th grade. And 8th grade, students have the opportunity to take 8th grade studio art, where they can receive a half high school credit towards a high school diploma. High school course offerings. So we have studio art, studio semester, drawing and painting, advanced painting, AP, graphics, ceramics, sculpture, architecture, digital photography, fashion, and jewelry. We like to highlight that Photo 2 has the ability to earn college credits along with AP, so we're very excited about that. More opportunities in the art. This year we had an in-house field trip. We had a professional potter come to the high school, where students had a beautiful fall day outside, where they brought wheels out there and got to spin and work on specific wheel throwing skills with the potter. So it was a great opportunity for the students, and the teachers who also got to come and help chaperone. More opportunities outside in the art program here. We have an online art program through the Art of Ed University. Thanks on behalf of the special ed department. They helped to fund this for us. Through this, we're able to show videos made by our teachers for our teachers, handouts, professional development. And it's an all-inclusive program that we've been utilizing all year, and it's very beneficial. Opportunities beyond the classroom. This year, the digital photography students got to take a trip to New York City to attend the Color Factory gallery. I got to help chaperone this trip, and the kids came out with some great pieces. Achievements beyond the classroom. The Art Supervisors Association All County exhibit will take place in March. We have 24 students entered in that show. The AP Art Show Art League of Long Island has about 3 students. Delphi for the Love of Arts in the weekend class is 2. We have 3 district-wide seasonal art shows where we highlight 300 students each year. Next one coming up this Thursday, 7 o'clock, if you're available. And the district calendar, we highlight 12 students every year. Our fine art virtual community. My colleagues and I have social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, where we connect with 7,800 people almost daily, where we are highlighting projects and videos and different things that the students are working on, so we could showcase this to the community, parents, other art teachers. Sometimes professional fine artists will contact us and react to the projects that the kids are working on to show them that we're inspired by their work. And it's a nice little community we have going on there. And district participation in the fine arts, pre-K is 135, elementary is 1369. That should say middle school 539, should say high school 441, for a total of 2,484 artists. I'll hand it over to Vito for the rest of the points of pride.
So, as I mentioned from the start, our points of pride right off the bat, right, especially if we're looking at our musicians and our artists, are their achievements and where they go with their talent. And we have national and all Eastern concert bands. We have all state recognitions in all 3 areas, orchestra, band, and chorus. We have lots of community performances by our Tri-Am Honor Society. We do support Stream and any other initiatives within the district wherever we can. We have district-wide participation in the Art Supervisors Association, which again includes the art shows for students to participate in. Lots of professional development across the board in all those areas. We continue to promote participation in not only NISMA, but NISBA, LISPA, and all the music festivals that are available to students. I think it's very much driven by the talent and the ability and the enthusiasm of our students, and certainly the support of the wonderful staff that we have in both art and music, our art and music programs. And one of the other initiatives we're currently supporting with our art department and our artists is the Special Olympics, where we just recently had a group of students designing the logo for the t-shirts for Special Olympics. This is just a sampling of some of the finalists for that. So in all those areas across the board, and again, I think that speaks to Plain Edge in general. All the areas overlap and support each other, whether it's special ed or music and art, or physical education and so on. Just to round it out, a few other points of pride, our wonderful concerts, which I know many of you attend. And we do have our seasonal art shows. We do have one on Thursday. The last one would be the spring on May 9th. And then after that, Music Appreciation Month is coming up in March. And that will be led by our three festivals, our choral band and orchestra festivals. Those dates are there as well, the 4th, the 6th, and the 11th. And then we do have a number of staff that participate on the committees and part of those associations, NACME, LISPA, ASA. So, you know, our staff are leaders in their areas as well, and provide development. We have our drama and musical performances coming up. We have the ASA All County Art Show. And certainly, again, scholarship winning seniors for achievements in arts. And finally, again, for 2023, 5th year in a row, we have been designated as the best community for music education. Our application is in for 2024. I have no doubt that that will be 6 years in a row when they make those decisions. It just continues to be a great place and providing lots of opportunities for students to be artists and musicians, even if they're not artists and musicians. And I think that's one of the great things about the program is providing opportunities for all those students. Any questions?
I actually just have one question. In terms of like the instruments, I was looking at the line items. Are the instruments generally in like good condition, or, you know, I just don't know really. I mean, when I went to school here, they weren't. I'm sure they're better, but
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that, you know, obviously this is their school. I want to
Yeah.
make sure that they're.
So we have three basic categories for instruments. So you have new equipment, we might have a rental, and then we would also have a repair.
Right.
So we basically look at the instruments, we evaluate them, whether they're, what condition they're in, what level they're in. We actually will send them out for repair. And then we'll even get an evaluation on that instrument from our repair shop. And they'll say, you know, if the value of the instrument is much greater than something that would be new, or, and so that's how we kind of look at it. We constantly try to evaluate and we try to meet the needs and cost effective, because they are expensive. So it's much better for us to be preventative and keep everything in working order. And that's a lot of our conversations that we have. We do have a number of contracts with our equipment across the board, whether it's in art or music. And we do take advantage of that every year to make sure that we have a technician coming in and servicing and repairing things before we get to the point where it's irreparable or you know, there's an issue.
and this is just a comment, but two teachers, standing up there of my students, I just want to say, Mr. Good job. I see your enthusiasm just through your remind messages. I don't think my kids appreciate what effort you put forward, but I can tell. I'm hoping that one day when they're older and they look back, they can appreciate how much you put in. Mr. Pissarro, I see, they don't speak about it, but I see what comes home. I see what you post on Instagram, and I could see the same passion from you. So I just want to thank you for, what you're doing, working with all the students in this district, and what you bring to them, when they have you, so.
Vera, I just want to say you should really be proud of 5 years in a row of the NAM designation in our schools. When you go on their website, it takes a lot of work to get those designations, and having 5 years in a row is a very big pride point for the staff. So I want to say thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. We know that that takes a lot of work. So, thank you.
I want to say the same thing as Ray, but I also wanted to, the music education has been stellar. I do want to say it was great to see that our digital photography went on a field trip. That is all.
It's a great time. I was chaperone that trip, exactly. It's really good photos, it was a fun day out.
I love to see that. So, thank you.
I still have my son's photos when it first began, the black and whites that you did.
I still love to see
And it was based on their interest level, so he has his drum with his, outfit, so I still have that.
That's great, thank you.
And, really was, music program obviously was, a big hit with him. And it's a thank you all for that, because, you were all very big influences on my own child.
I'd like you guys to thank you all for being here tonight. Give them a big round of applause for their.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, thanks to everyone again for their presentations. They were very thorough and a lot of work went into them, and we thank you very much. Adoption of policy 9550, which is the expression of breath in the workplace. Discussion.
I liked this policy. I really thought, I think this is a great policy. I think it's a little New York State, I guess everywhere, but that we have to have a policy for this, to me, is out of a little mind blowing. I think women should be able to do what they want as far as feeding their babies. But I am very happy to have this policy and know that our teachers are welcome to ask for time that can be given back at the end of the day if they have to use time that they're not allotted, such as their prep or their lunch. So I thought that was a great policy.
And when you gotta pump, you gotta.
You gotta pump, you gotta do
Nothing
it.
else you can do, you gotta do it.
So glad we're all on the same page.
He's like, what are you talking about?
Sorry, fellas.
What's on the record?
All right,
Maureen, can you put that in a minute?
If you have it. We need to loosen up a little bit. Make
sure you do that for the commercial.
Yeah. I guess I can do that. All right, next, adoption of policy 9130, which is workplace violence prevention discussion. Well.
Good policy.
Good policy.
Very good. All right, moving on, business. Do I have a motion to accept business items number 1 through 24? Dr. Neto? And Dr. Selena will, second, Mrs. Maggio. Dr. Selena will introduce an addendum as business item number 25, settlement agreement and general release, and business item number 26.
Resolved that the Board of Education is item number 25. Resolved that the Board of Education authorized to execute the settlement agreement and general release dated February 2nd, 2024, executed by employee number 02462 and the Plain Edge Federation of Teachers, which agreement has been reviewed by the Board of Education in executive session. In addition to that, item number 26, addendum MOA between the district and the Plain Edge Administrators Association. Resolved that the Board of Education approves the memorandum agreement between Plain Edge Public Schools and the Plain Edge Administrators Association. As amended, for voting purposes tonight, items number 1 through 26.
Thank you.
Full vote
Do I have a motion to accept these items?
as amended.
As amended. Dr. Neto, second. Mrs. Maggio, all in favor? Opposed?
7 in favor, motion carried.
Thank you.
All right, Pride in Plain Edge, opportunity for board members to present on attendance or participation at school and or community events.
I'll just chat about our wonderful concerts we had in January for the elementary. I do have to say, thank you to our elementary. I wanted to kind of say that it must be hard as high school and middle school teachers in the fine arts after that strong elementary foundation those kids get. Because how do they choose in middle school, art or music? Because I mean, my kids come out of elementary loving both. So I think I just love it. But the concerts were wonderful at the elementary level. And I love that it's January. I really do, because the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, but then you can kind of enjoy the elementary concerts and really enjoy the winter. And the little children who just learned how to play. It is awesome. So thank you. Thank you for the efforts, music department.
Same.
Same.
I don't have more to say on that. I did enjoy that.
Come on.
Nice.
All right,
Oh, I'm sorry,
I
Raymond.
just want to thank the PDA for inviting us to their administration's dinner. Many of us were
Yes.
able to attend. It was a very nice evening. And we just want to make sure we thank them for inviting us.
Thanks,
and
Ray.
thank you for the gift that we received.
Not bad.
All right, new business, there is no new business. Old business, there is no old business. Informational reports, do you have any questions on the informational reports? An opportunity for public comment. All comments are directed to the Board of Education president. Each speaker is limited to 2 minutes in total. Each speaker is expected to use the microphone and clearly state their name. Anyone?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicole Otask. I'm a proud mom of a first grader at West, and unfortunately, I missed the UPK. As I'm sure many of you guys know, you have a lot of backlash about that going on right now, and I'm not here. Of course, I'm gonna be salty because that's we just well stated. It's the best school district, right? Like it's the best of the best. And I think as parents overall, I've spoken to parents who got into the UPK, who didn't get into the UPK. There's just a lot of concern as a community as to what we're doing moving forward to rectify the situation, because it seems like it's an issue year after year. My daughter was one of the first groups of pre-K students that you guys had. We had a great experience. It was fabulous. I really attribute her success to it. But I do just, as a community, want to know where are we going forward with this? Like, how are we? Obviously, it's been brought up here tonight several times. Space is an issue. So how are we fixing that situation? Like, how are you guys planning for that? That's just a common question we have.
All right, we thank you for your comments this evening, and we appreciate hearing the comments from the community. And, you know, it's an opportunity for the board members to listen to the comments, and any questions will be directed to the district clerk. And, you know, again, we're taking this under consideration, and we're happy to call to answer those questions for you with our central administrative team.
We emailed.
And all of the emails will be answered. Leaving your information with the district clerk.
We have several for like 2 weeks now. So that's where we just get a little frustrated and the heat kind of comes on. It's been an issue. It's not a new issue. And I don't know, maybe other parents have more words than I do. I do just want to say thank you for all you're doing. I am a very proud parent of Plain Edge. I love it here.
Thank you. Okay,
Anyone else like to make a comment?
all right. Does anyone else have any comments tonight?
Joe Garcia, how are you? Couple kids at West. Daughter's gonna be going into UPK. Just wanna say, let's try to find the space. Let's try to fix this permanently. Everybody knew the question was coming up, so it'll get answered by email, I guess, instead of Facebook and everywhere else. But I think there are ways we can find that space. I think we should do it. I think it's important, and I think we should make that permanent. Thanks.
All right, thank you for your comments. Anyone else? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Mr. Paris, second, Dr. Neto? All in favor? Opposed?
Then in favor, motion carried.
Thank you, everyone. Have
Thank
a
you,
great
everyone, for
night.
coming tonight.